Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Hi, I'm Jean.
And I'm Mike. And today we are doing the crossword for Saturday, February 22nd, 2025. So, on what some people call the attic of the week, did you do the crossword?
I did. I didn't know they called it the attic of the week.
The attic of the week.
Really?
Yes. And
why?
Because it's like the last day of the week. If you think that your crossword solving week starts on a Sunday, this has got to be the attic. Sunday is like the basement, and then we slowly ascend.
I see. Well, that's an interesting metaphor.
Yes, thank you very much. I thought of it myself.
I was going to say, did you make that up?
Because no one else would ever believe it.
Okay, well, on the attic of the week,
Yes.
I did do the crossword.
Good.
Mm-hmm. And it was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Although I got it done rather quickly.
Oh, good.
So
That's a relief.
yeah, it was just, once again, I started it in the evening, but I finished it in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I got it all filled out. I didn't know if I would be able to or not, because there were some places that were kind of stumpers for me, but eventually it all filled in and I got the music. So.
Well, excellent.
Mm-hmm. How about you?
I had a somewhat similar experience, except I did it all last night.
Mm-hmm.
And you could sort of get a feel, when you can start put clues into all sorts of different corners and nooks and crannies of the grid right away. That's usually a good sign.
Yep.
You know you're in for a tough Saturday when you're down to the second to last row and you don't have any clues filled in yet.
Right. Yes, that is a little disconcerting.
But this one felt a little bit on the easy side, but then I always, as I'm working on crosswords like that, start thinking there's going to be a trap somewhere, and I'm going to run into foreign foods and Spanish and somebody who was a hit in 2023 or something like that, and I'll be like, I have no idea. Mm-hmm. The one problem I had was 32 across, the world's heaviest snake up to 500 pounds, and I had it ending in anaconda, and I thought, okay, they're going to call it the Great Anaconda. I mean, doesn't that sound like a good name for a giant snake? It's the Great Anaconda.
It sounds like a very good name for it.
Yes,
Giant snake.
I stuck with Great Anaconda much longer than I should have.
Oh.
And then at some point, I realized it wasn't great. My particular dilemma wasn't great because of the word great. I sort of backed it up and then realized, it's green anaconda.
That is correct.
That helped a whole lot. Mm-hmm. Because I was trying to get, 28 down. They're not always kept in the loop. And I'm like, okay, BCC it was starting with a B, because 26 across, Peter out was ebb. And so I thought, well, BCC is when you blind carbon copy, so to speak, someone, and they're in the loop.
Right.
So I didn't understand how BCC was going to work in that place.
Well, and it was 5 squares.
And it was 5 squares. That was the other impediment to success.
Right.
And also, let's see, 33 down. Dollars is to U.S. as blank is to Nigeria. I have no idea what the currency is in Nigeria, to be perfectly honest. Turns out it's Nairas.
That's right.
Which is a lot easier to get to when you have the first letter of that answer starting with an N, as it would be when it was green anaconda.
That is correct, yes.
What do you think about the clue the answer underneath it? 36 across. Acts of service and words of affirmation for 2. Yep. Love languages.
Love languages.
Did you know that?
I did know that.
Wow.
I have just recently heard of love languages. I have no idea what they are exactly, but there's like different categories. Like
yes.
Affirmation or, words of love or acts of service or, just all kinds of different things, I guess, that would make you feel more loving toward a person. This would be a good, Fun Fact Friday, I think.
Right.
I think it's a little more complicated than that. But anyway, yes, they talk about, well, these two actor and actress are together, and you can tell that their love language is this or their love language is that, or so yeah, or even discussing fictional characters. They talk about their love languages. So I think it's something relatively new.
My love language
certainly didn't have it when I was growing
really?
up or anything. So
that's because my love language is ancient Mesopotamian.
No, not that kind of language.
No, it's the love language of the ancient Mesopotamians. And apparently this is a book by somebody, and I'm sure sales just went through the roof because they showed up in the New York Times crossword.
No, I think it probably went before that.
The one beneath it was fabulous. Time to celebrate female friendship and a neologism, and it was Galentine's Day.
Right, yes.
Had you heard of Galentine's Day?
I have. Yes.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Wow. That's a great name.
This is one reason I guess I finished quite quickly, because I got those two right away. So
oh, yeah, I had to get both of those through the crosses.
Yep.
I wasn't sure about Galentine's Day because 37 down School of Wales, I always go for pod.
I went for pod to begin with as well.
And that would have made it Palentine's Day.
Yes.
That's when you take a friend out to lunch. And gender is not part of the discussion.
That's right.
But it turned out to be GAM.
A GAM, yes.
A GAM of whales.
What is a pod? Is that sharks, or I can't remember.
I thought a pod, you could have a pod of orcas.
I don't know.
I think.
It's a collective noun.
A pod of orcas is a group of closely related orcas. Maybe it's only for orcas.
Oh.
That'd be weird.
Perhaps.
I wonder if there's like an iPhone of other species. You got iPod. It would have to be iPod.
I don't know.
I'd like to know what an orchid iPod is. Probably something you can order from Apple.
I looked up pod as a group of aquatic mammals such as whales, dolphins, porpoises, or seals.
Okay.
So, anyway.
All right. Well,
that's the definition, anyway.
Glad we got that straightened out. Now you can explain 50 across. That was Apple Core, and the answer was Genius Bar.
Yes. Well, you can explain that. Right?
Well, I understand. I know what the Genius Bar is. It's something at the Apple Store.
Right.
But I wasn't sure why it was Apple Core, CORPS.
Well, because that's like their staff of experts, right? It's core, like a troop,
Sure, but the Genius Bar I think of as just being a physical location.
Well, yeah, but but there's a bunch of geniuses manning it, right?
Well, then the answer should have been Genius Bar geniuses. Or staff.
I see.
Of course, they did put a question mark after it.
Core kind of denotes people.
Right, and Genius Bar does not. That's my issue.
Oh.
Genius Bar is just like, here's the bar. It's like saying, here's the bar. What about the bartenders?
Well, I just know. When I think of Genius Bar, I think of that group of great technological minds that are back there to help you
yes.
when you have a problem.
Really?
So yeah,
I just think of the counter.
You just think of a piece of wood.
Well, it's Apple. It's usually like glass or plastic, something shiny.
No, it's not. It's usually a very nice wood, but that's interesting.
Well, anywho, we had 32 down was Title Family in a 2013 to 2023 ABC sitcom, and that was Goldbergs.
That's correct.
Were you familiar with the Goldbergs?
Meet the Goldbergs. I never watched that show, but I saw a few snippets of it on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else was interesting here? 14 across. Attack words that might be spoken as a compliment. I hate you.
Yes.
That's sort of cute.
Uh-huh.
And one across. Utterance that's usually made in pairs. Tisk.
Yes.
I got that right off.
Me too.
Because we just had tisk tisk.
Yeah.
Like maybe
tisk, right? It was
tisk tisks. Yes, you're right. It was plural. And wasn't that like yesterday?
Or maybe a day before. I don't remember, but it was this past week. Yes.
I'll tell you one thing we did have yesterday that tied into today's 10 down. Like the exterior columns at the Parthenon was Doric.
Right.
And yesterday we had Corinth.
That's correct. Yes.
So
talking about the
So I bet
decorative columns in a particular city.
Right. I think Will is on some sort of an architectural kick this week.
Could be.
I predict Ionic, assuming that's is that a kind of column?
Yes, it
is. Good. I
Yeah.
predict the word Ionic is going to show up in tomorrow's crossword. It's a Sunday, so I've got a pretty good chance that it'll show up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
7 down was an answer that ran the height of the crossword. Big shot performer, human cannonball.
Right, yes.
That was good.
Mm-hmm.
And 4 across. Who said, I play the notes as they are written, but it is God who makes the music? And the answer was Bach.
That is correct.
But wasn't he German?
He's a good Lutheran.
So would he have, but he was German.
He was German.
Okay, so would he have been saying that in English?
No.
So that's not.
It in German.
So once again, I have to take exception to the clues. I'm trying to win the Nitpicker Award.
Well, you certainly are.
I think I'm leading. The opposition has just
I bet
fallen by the wayside.
the New York Times that comes out in Germany, it's probably written in German. So.
Whoa. I hadn't even thought about that. 16 across, classic stops on the vaudeville circuit. Peoria.
Plays in Peoria.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And beneath that, how criticism of a pastry, this being 18 across, how criticism of a pastry chef might be delivered tartly.
Yes.
That was good.
That was pretty funny. Yep.
And then 23 across, show for which, and as soon as I saw the word show and recognized it was 3 letters, I was immediately writing down SNL before I got to the end of the clue, which was show for which Eddie Murphy won an Emmy in brief, right. SNL.
I found 12 down quite amusing. Candies originally named for their imperfect shape. Milk duds.
Yes.
I never knew that about milk duds.
That milk duds are duds?
That's why they called them that. I just thought they were making sort of a silly name.
Okay.
They really were duds, I guess.
The irony is nowadays they probably have to work very hard to make them look imperfect.
Yeah.
Because they're cranking them out
in different shapes.
Yes, they're cranking them out in this machine that will probably be exact to a nanometer.
It can't be like a Hershey Kiss or something that's always perfectly shaped.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, but yeah, I thought that was very funny. That is one of our children's favorite candies. So
yes?
I know a lot about milk duds.
Milk duds. All right. Well, I think that is it for the crossword.
Okay.
But it is Saturday, which means it's time for JAMCOTWA, the Gene and Mike Crossword of the Week Award.
Yes.
Where we delve into the annals and look painstakingly at each one of the 7 crosswords of the previous week and pick out what we deem to be the very best.
Right.
And this week we picked
Tuesday. A very funny and clever crossword by Eric Uggart. That had 3 clues that were exactly the same, and that was the word seriously, and the answers were I can't believe you, who does that, and the audacity, and then finally the last one that was seriously. There were actually 4, not 3, but the last one was just the word wow, with one W at one end of this puzzle and another W at the other end and a whole bunch of O's in between. And because of that, Eric cleverly lined up a whole bunch of words that had an O in just the right place so that he could have a whole line of O's, which I just thought was rather ingenious.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, but it was so funny. I mean, it had a lot of funny clues. Starting with blank, which was Astros yikes, ruh-roh.
Yep.
So, which brought back some memories. And anyway, just a fun crossword.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And some very interesting and entertaining and educational clues.
That is correct.
So, for that reason, it is our JAMCOTWA winner. Well done, Eric.
Yep.
If you feel so inclined, drop us a line, crosswordpodcast at iCloud.com.
Yes.
And we'll have some lovely Northeast Wisconsin swag winging its way towards you as soon as the snows melt enough so that we can get out to the post office.
Yes, and a T-shirt too.
Oh, yes, we will have a T-shirt as well. Just include your T-shirt size. Again, crosswordpodcast@icloud.com.
Right.
And for anyone else who wants to reach us, you can do so at that same email address or click on the Send Fan Mail link. Mm-hmm. That really is it for today then. So thanks everyone for listening.
Yep.
We'll be back again with our cutting edge analysis of tomorrow's crossword tomorrow.
Bye-bye.